Welcome everybody to another NXT Party. I am of course your host, the Rated R reviewer Stefan Osborne, joined today by a super panel, the biggest NXT party we've had lately. And ever.
This is the first time we've actually had two guests at the same time.
So we've decided to use the big screen and we've set up accordingly. Took a little bit to hang that flag, but I think we did a pretty good job. Thank you, Jerry. So I am of course with the General, Jerry Slaughter. And today's special guest, we have two. Obviously, we have the simple man, Noah Foster, and the Duchess of No DQ, 1/3 of the ladies of No DQ. We have Cindy G.
Yeah, absolutely.
Golf clap. Welcome, you guys. How's it going, Noah?
Going very well. How are y'all?
Doing good. I think
we're alive and kicking.
I'm getting over being sick, so if it sounds like it, it's just, all that stuff going away. How are you doing, Cindy?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for having me again. I'm still recovering from a sinuses cold, but hey, I'm feeling better. And by the way, this is orange juice. There's no alcohol in it.
No judgment,
I
Cindy.
to bring this fancy glass to kick off the end of 2018.
It's still kind of the holidays. No judgment, Cindy. Mimosas all around.
It's like, sure, no alcohol.
Well, we have another double episode of NXT UK to get through this week, and I think this is going to be the case leading all the way up until January 12th when we have our first NXT UK takeover. It's going to be Takeover Liverpool. Yes, we will find out that announcement actually in another episode. I don't even think
it's the first one.
No, that's the first announcement.
Yeah, first announcement on the entire night.
So I'm glad I brought that up.
Yeah.
Well, since I brought that up,
Sid Scala comes out to the ring and brings out Johnny Saint, and they dropped the news that we're going to be getting our first NXT UK takeover on January 12th. So
now, did anybody else catch this news early? Like, this wasn't news to me. I think I caught it on NoDQ.com, the announcement that this was going to be the first takeover in Liverpool. What do you think about it, Cindy?
Well, Triple H did announce it on the WWE YouTube channel that they're going to have the first ever NXT UK takeover taking place in Blackpool. So it's not a surprise to me on my end, but I'm actually very looking forward to how they're going to play out with this whole NXT UK takeover matches and all that. And the question is, will it be same over the top quality compared to the normal NXT takeovers? We're not sure, but hey, time would tell y'all.
Yeah.
If this cast of characters can put on the quality matches that they normally do for NXT takeover, then I'm all on board.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about that though. For one, some of the storylines and the feuds haven't had enough time to be developed. But on the other hand, I don't know that I trust or am emotionally invested in these characters enough at this point to see that go down.
I was about to say, we're 19 episodes in, but at the same time, each episode we're seeing either a squash match or maybe just not a lot of character development, not a lot of storyline development. We're seeing a lot of the same stuff out of the same people each week. So, and even then, when we do get somebody new brought in, usually they have kick-ass music, but then they get beat within 5 minutes or just hand off to somebody else.
Well, now the one storyline that I'm invested in going into this is anything Gallus. Gallus has been built up every week for the last 20 weeks into what they are now, and I think it's going to be Joe Coffey versus Pete Dunne for the championship. And so half of me is invested in that match because of them building up Joe Coffey for the last 20 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
The other half is just because it's fucking Pete Dunne, man.
Well, yeah, anytime you get to see Pete Dunne wrestle is just a treat anyway.
What do you think, Noah? Are you looking forward to this pay-per-view?
I'm absolutely looking forward to it, and I agree on your points about character development, but we all know if this is an NXT TakeOver event that is based on what Triple H has given us, where none of them have disappointed and each one's trying to overcome the other, I think we're in for a great show. There's no doubt in my mind, though, Pete Dunne's going to headline it, and we're probably going to get a good 30-minute match out of him.
Well,
I agree on your point also about Joe Coffey probably being his next contender based on the whole Gallus setup.
Well, do we even know that this is a Triple H production? I mean, is he calling the shots? Is Vince overseeing all the final decisions? Or is this an anomaly NXT product that's over in the UK being done by other people? We don't know that. It really seems like it's being done by other people because there's very few times in production that I see things that mimic NXT. Most of it seems like its own brand, its own product. What do you think, Cindy?
Well, I feel like Triple H is actually overseeing like what's going on in the NXT UK brand. I mean, face it, the Authority is like taking over like the main roster brand, and then now with NXT it's just Triple H, but still with the general manager role. But I feel that with the NXT UK, they're still working together with some of the UK indie wrestling company like Progress, for example, that they're trying to like rehash to some of the like the notable feud, to like some of the matches as well. And Noah and I has been talking about like one particular storyline feud that's going to be well developed, which we're going to be getting to that in just a moment. So I honestly feel that like with NXT UK, it's definitely probably run it by itself, but it's being overseas by Triple H. But hell, it is a really good quality show after all. I mean, that and compared to NXT itself.
Yeah, I think it's a better quality than I originally thought it would be. We're just getting battered in the head by it with 2 hours every week.
Yeah.
What do you think, Noah?
2 hours can definitely be strenuous. Sometimes I find myself watching the 3 o'clock episode at 5, and then I follow the run right after at 6. So yeah, it can sometimes become a little strenuous to watch, especially on its exact times. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of influence here from promotions like you said, so like Progress, ICW. Heck, I even see Pro Wrestling Eve involved in this, with Charlie Morgan, for example.
So we go from the announcement of the takeover, the first ever NXT UK takeover, to the first match announcement.
Yeah, it just came out of the blue, really.
Well, she did. Toni Storm came out of the blue, interrupted, which normally is a heel thing, but I guess she let them finish their announcement before she came out. And she wants a title match. Surprise, surprise. The only other person worthy of being in the finals of the tournament to decide the first women's champion wants to vie for the title.
Her bangs look ridiculous.
You've just been waiting.
I'm not a big like hairstylist guy naturally, because if you've seen me, prior to these episodes where I had hair like out to here and it was alive, the bangs just they just no.
Very 90s. As the resident female on this panel, Cindy, what do you think about her bangs?
Is she pulling them off?
I love it. It looks really great on her. I bet like Caitlyn and Aaron with an E may agree on what I have to say. Like, it very suits her facial feature.
She looks
actually looks pretty much her age.
She looks like an early 90s figure skater. Olympic figure skater.
She looks like Taylor Swift gone metal.
With a black eye. What do you think, Noah? Do you think Toni Storm should be the number one contender here?
Based on the circumstances and who we've seen face Rhea since her title run, I would say yes. I feel like we didn't get the full potential between her and Rhea in their first match because of the whole injury spot in the barricade. Truth be told, mad props to Toni for continuing on in the match, but I feel like their rematch at TakeOver is going to go over the top.
Oh, yeah.
I think it really needs to. I think this needs to be a spot that sets, regardless of what happens in the men's title match, this needs to be a spot that sets NXT UK apart from NXT.
Absolutely.
Because you've got Baszler on NXT, and she's just a badass female powerhouse MMA fighting style, just ground and pound until she makes you submit. This needs to be different because even though Rhea Ripley's a badass, she's a wrestler.
She's a grappler and a half.
So we go from this to our first match of the night. We've got Kenny Williams coming out with his new tag team partner, Amir Jordan, versus Jordan Devlin. And who didn't think Devlin was going to win? I mean, they're pushing him to the moon. His one loss was against the champ. Other than that, he's undefeated. I don't even like Jordan Devlin, but somehow I managed to like Jordan Devlin.
Well, it's one of these things where he's pompous and everything, but you can't deny his skill. You really can't. And he's got that intensity to him that's just unmatched by really anybody I've actually seen in the company so far, like, that can manage to be super cocky and super intense at the same time, draw enough heat, but then also back it all up. So any match I've seen him in, I've just been sold on.
Well, I'm kind of a fan of Kenny Williams, even though to me he's still kind of in that gray area of who is this guy. But when he actually does get in the ring, he's pretty fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
He does that drop kick through the ropes that he skins the cat on and then tries to come back with a suicide. I mean, he does some cool spots. In this case, he got caught. Noah, what did you think about this match?
It was obvious, of course, who was going to win. I was not going to bet against the Irish Kings.
Nope.
But
Marty McFly lost.
Kenny Williams kind of reminds me of something a little bit out of a video game or like retro Back to the Future type deal. And as far as the match goes, there were some cool spots here. I thought, again, the whole monkey flip and the wheelbarrow roll through into a snap flex was a pretty cool spot.
Oh, that half Nelson after the wheelbarrow was just brutal.
That looks so
Oh
hard.
man, that was amazing.
That looked brutal.
Yes.
And then, of course, we got Ireland's call and pretty much done.
Yeah, we noticed that we got the original Ireland's call last week when he last episode, or maybe 2 ago when he faced Hitchman. He changed it up into more of an angle slam, but he went back to the original. Maybe it's because of his weight.
I think he had to adjust because the weight is the thing. Like, it's one of those moves that's already kind of weird to set up, but you have these guys that are usually not really thin, but like decent sized frame, and then you had like Hitchman, who's
stout.
He's stout.
He's short, but he's stout. So we got all of Devlin's greatest hits. We got the Uranagi into the moonsault. Of course, in this case, Kenny Williams countered that one. We got that pull-up into the amazing dead weight back body driver. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is my favorite move that he does, and if one of these days he needs to get a pinfall off of that,
Well,
I think.
the thing was with that, like Kenny, Kenny to me just sells very well in the ring. He makes everything look great, and with this ripcord backdrop driver thing that happened, it was just beautiful because like he just caught him and then just dropped him around the back of his head. It was just wonderful to watch.
It's too bad he's the baby face because Amir Jordan did absolutely dick for him on the outside. There was no reason for him to be there. Cindy, what did you think about this match?
I mean, it is a really fun opener to begin with. Like I said, I'm very like wow about like how Kenny was trying to do the wheelbarrow, but then again, Jordan did counter with of course, the snaplex. I mean, I was like, wow, pretty amazed by it. But then at the finisher, that was like a pretty brutal finisher on Jordan Devlin's end. So overall, it was a really fun match per se. But for Kenny Williams, I feel like he just needed to stay in just the attacking division with Amir Jordan because I think both of them would work pretty well. I mean, they're pretty good friends after all. But like as a single competitor, it's like just too soon to tell. That's just my personal opinion for that. But with Jordan Devlin, I mean, he is pretty much one of the top heels in the NXT UK brand. And his promo afterwards, spot on perfect, saying that he is just the Irish ace of the NXT UK. He just don't care about the losers and the posers. Everything about it says it all. And I'm kind of like pretty much skeptical. Like he mentioned that he wanted to bring NXT UK as NXT Ireland, but now he's just caring about it's just more of himself. So
Typical heel. But you love to hate him because he's just that bad. So he says the same thing as always, don't bet against the ace. And I still revert back to when he compared the ace to the Joker, and I'm like, oh God, the Joker beats everything. The Joker beats everything. Don't ever do that again if you're watching Jordan Devlin. I hope that you don't use that comparison again. But anyway. So up next we get a brief video package for the upcoming Marcel Bartel, the German Dynamite.
Yep.
And this guy looks good.
We saw him in one episode of NXT not too long ago, and he had a great showing in that match. So I was actually really excited.
He had an okay showing. I still remember the basement dropkick.
Yeah, the basement dropkick sucked, but otherwise he did an alright job.
Well, anyway, so after that we get a interview. Radzie's in the back and decides to knock on the door and get a word with Sid Scala and the GM Johnny Saint. And we get Rhea Ripley interrupting.
Oh yeah. because she pretty much says like, okay, you're gonna put me in a match against Tony Storm at the Takeover. I'm a fighting champion. I want to fight somebody. I want to fight somebody now.
I love this fighting champion heel. What do you think about Rhea Ripley, Noah?
I absolutely love it, okay? The fact that 205 Live and NXT champions actually, A, want to defend their title, and B, seem to enjoy doing it, is a major upgrade versus what we get on the main roster. She's a great champion, and I even brought out a tweet saying that what an incredible evolution of her character and in-ring style.
Oh, yeah.
It's truly something to behold.
Yeah, that belt was made for her. What do you think about her, Cindy?
I absolutely love her being a champion. Like, the moment she debuted at last year's Mae Young Classic as a babyface, long hair competitor, to now that she is the Mosh Pit Kid heel, it kind of sets like a whole 180 change of Rhea Ripley. And as I stated on the Evolution predictions video, because we all thought we'll see a NXT UK women's champion defending on that, but we were all wrong, and it kind of like brief a spoiler. But anyway, as I stated, that it feels pretty much a breath of fresh air to have Rhea Ripley having like her character change so much, because with her heel character, she can have any opportunity she wants. And lo and behold, it's the NXT UK Women's Champion that she held proudly, and especially just telling everybody that she is the true champ that she deserves. So I absolutely love her.
Well, I don't know if she gets all the opportunities she wants, because they basically have to take heels and turn them into faces in order to put her in the ring with her. Put them in the ring with her.
With her, dude, I've already established it a couple times with you. She wears the belt well.
Yep.
And I mean that in a whole bunch of other senses. One, she looks good wearing the belt. She actually wears it around her waist. It's not draped over her shoulder. It's not being dragged behind her. She wears that belt and she wears it proudly. It looks great. Naturally, it looks good on her too. But then also, she's a fighting champion. I think she's already had more like title defenses than Brock Lesnar did in like 6 months at one point. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you have a fighting champion like that, heel or not, I'm gonna respect you. But like with Rhea, she's not exactly going for like these quick victories or anything like that. She wants the best competition she can actually get. And you can tell that she's actually legitimately asking for it, versus like somebody like,
she's not asking for it, she's demanding it.
Yeah, so it's like, kudos to her. I hope she is like the female Pete Dunne here.
Well, we get a near immediate response to this. Sid Scala and Johnny Saint go into the office very briefly.
For like 10 seconds.
Yeah, they come right back out and they're like, you know what, we've got somebody debuting next week and we're going to put her in the ring for the title. No, it's not for the title. It's a non-title match, isn't it?
No, it was for the belt.
It's
It
for
was
the
for
title.
the belt.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, in your debut match, you get a title shot, whereas Isla Dawn had to win some matches to get a title shot. So, I don't like that. But other than that, we find out Deonna Purrazzo is going to face Rhea Ripley in the next episode, which we will be reviewing shortly. So obviously we've already seen that, but we won't give away the spoilers just yet. Up next we get a match to basically put Eddie Dennis back on a winning streak. We get the Jobber and Dan Maloney.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Great music.
Music.
That's all me and Noah can say about the guy. Great music.
But we don't even get a match.
No, we don't. Actually, we get a little bit of a match going, but then like he gets tossed to the outside, and all of a sudden, Dave Mastiff shows up and just gets more or less gets Dan Maloney disqualified.
Yeah, so Eddie Dennis wins by disqualification, so technically he gets his win. What do you think about this match, Noah?
If you can call it a match.
Right.
It was pretty good as soon as the bell rang. I liked the fast start by Dan Maloney. There was a float over, and then we had like a judo type throw, I think they call it. You had some chops, forearm apron spot. Then what happened? Dave Mastiff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
What do you think, Cindy?
It was a pretty good standard squash match, but what I like about it is after poor Dan Maloney got disqualified, you saw him was kind of like blaming Dave Mastiff for his for his L, but then all of a sudden you saw Dave Masters just try to eye on Eddie Dennis, and that's when he attacked Dan Maloney just to send a clear message to Eddie Dennis that that's going to be him getting these hands, regardless for that. So I like the whole, like, what Dave Mastiff is doing just to send a clear message to Eddie Dennis that he's going to be the next person that he wanted to beat once and for all.
So after
overall, it's just like your typical standard match, like what Noah said.
Yeah, so after the match, basically we get Dan Maloney is pissed about the fact that he got disqualified by Mastiff, and so he takes exception, but Mastiff is just like, whatever, forearms him, and then does his cannonball, just takes him out, and the crowd's chanting for one more time. They want to see another cannonball, but then they show a shot of Dan Maloney over in the corner, and he's just laid out flat. There is no other cannonball. He's not getting back up, even into a seated position. So if he wanted to do another one, they could have done it, and it would have made Mastiff look even more threatening. And it looks like they might be thinking about turning him heel, because these were definitely heel moves here.
Actually, that or they were going to turn Dan Maloney heel, which...
Yeah, nobody cares about a
nobody
turning
cares
heel.
about Dan Maloney. Give your music to someone who matters.
So we now get our third sighting of the GM and his assistant. We've got Scala and Saint in the back, and they're talking to Ligero, who's trying to assure them that he's going to get back on his winning ways, and he's not just a stepping stone towards the title. But his opponent comes into frame, and Joe Coffey is growing on me. Even though I was hoping that they would pair him with Mark, it's an obvious tag team. They've been a tag team. They probably would look more fluid and just better overall as a tag team if it was them instead of Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. But I don't think they're meaning for Mark Coffey and Wolfgang to advance. But we do get the announcement here that they are going to face Mustache Mountain. Not next episode, but I believe the one afterwards.
Yep, 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks' time, we're going to see that match. And they're calling it the semifinals?
Yep, semifinal match.
So we're already in the... So basically, we're going to get 4 teams. This is going to be one match. And I think they hint later that the next match is going to involve Liverpool's number 1.
Zach Gibson.
Yeah, Zach Gibson and his partner James Drake. I'm not sure who their opponents are going to be. But basically, we see them making it to the finals and Mustache Mountain going over Gallus. I don't think Gallus's tag team is meant to get the gold. I think Joe might actually be the one to take the NXT UK Championship off of Pete Dunne. Maybe. Because they are building up Gallus, and he is a staple on the show. We only see Pete Dunne about as often as we see Brock Lesnar.
I was about to say, more often than not, I think about maybe 55-60% of the episodes we've seen end with Gallus in the ring, or at least one member of Gallus being their arm being raised in victory in some way, shape, or form. So, yeah, it's not that hard to believe, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm still sketchy about the idea of Joe Coffey actually beating Pete Dunne. So, but at this point, I think Pete Dunne's indestructible, so I'm kind of biased.
So, Noah, who do you think's coming out of this on top? Mustache Mountain, or are we going to see Gallus move on to the finals?
I don't see Gallus getting all the gold. So at this point, based on what I'm seeing, I would have to go with Mustache Mountain to go forward. If anything, I see Joe Coffey, like you said, possibly winning the UK title, but that's a very small possibility in my opinion. I don't see Pete Dunne losing the title, honestly, till the next takeover after that.
Maybe the takeover before WrestleMania even.
Well, that'd be pretty great.
Who do you even build up for that, though? I don't think there's anybody on the NXT UK roster right now, other than maybe Zach Gibson.
The brand is still very young. I feel like you would build up for the current talent, or even more incoming talent. Don't forget, we got Walter coming. He's going to be a big time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you want to make the very first ever NXT UK takeover something special, you end the 500, near 600 day reign of Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
He's got nothing left to prove. And with Gallus behind him, I think Joe Coffey could do it. They've been building Joe Coffey from day one on this brand.
Yep.
So I think he's the heel to do it. But moving on, now we get Zach Gibson's guide to Liverpool, because he's home. This is his city. He is Liverpool's #1. And this was just basically him building up the city of Liverpool just to tear down the people of Liverpool.
Yep. Say he's
Bunch of entitled
say he's
brats.
say he's one of the pretty much the best thing in Liverpool, or at least the best person.
And once he started getting famous, they turned their backs on him. Classic heel. What'd you think about this guide to Liverpool, Cindy?
Well, I feel like I'm watching another episode of a Travel Channel where it's like this.
They didn't go very far though.
Of his hometown. Well, he's just telling him like he is the best out of Liverpool. But the only thing I just pay attention more is about the crowd, how they chanted, or they're holding the shoe. Because remember the infamous chant: "If you hate Zach Gibson, throw your shoe." Hold your shoes up or anything
Shoes
like
up,
that.
yeah.
Shoes up.
If you hate Zach Gibson, shoes up. If you hate Zach Gibson, shoes up. And they use his full name. If he had a middle name, they would use it. Because I keep saying, they don't just hate Zach Gibson or his character. They hate him for who he is. Even his hometown boos him.
That's what I'm really liking about the dynamic between him and James Drake. Is the fact that they're almost like the Jay and Silent Bob of NXT UK at this point, because you have Zach Gibson, who just does not shut up and is just universally hated, and then you have James Drake, who just is a silent partner more or less.
You think on the pay-per-views we'll finally hear James Drake say like a couple of words or tell a really meaningful anecdote?
Or the microphone get put over towards his way, but then Zach will just kind of put his just snatched away, or just do the talking for him. So
he's kind of like the disciple. He kind of gives me that vibe. Remember Hogan's disciple back in the NWO?
Yeah.
Just his facial expressions kind of give me that same vibe.
Yeah. He's pretty much like the I'll say it almost like the whipping boy, because he takes a lot of the punishment in their matches, but at the same time, yeah, they've got an awesome tag team dynamic to them.
Well, he's not supposed to be as good as Zach Gibson. What do you think about this segment, Noah? The guy
I thought it was pretty entertaining, but basically he's just putting himself over the entire city of Liverpool and the people. Liverpool doesn't need Zach Gibson.
You sound Jamaican.
He sounds like Joe Coffey. He's kind of speaking as slow as Joe Coffey moves. He talks even slower.
The only difference between Joe Coffey speaking and Zach Gibson speaking, Zach Gibson yells, so he makes sure you hear him.
Well, he yells because the audience is usually booing over top of him.
Well, I mean, you gotta get your voice over somehow, even with a microphone, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was pretty entertaining, but bottom line, this is just about putting himself over while minorly mentioning James Drake. But bottom line, they're saying they're going to be the champs, and they are Liverpool.
James did a lot of nodding during the whole thing. He's like,
yeah. So next up, we have a tag match. We've got Tucker, the man with no first name, no last name. I'm not sure. And Jack Starr's Jobber Team Central right here. I mean, I don't know if it gets more jobber, but then Saxon Huxley and Tyson T-Bone come out, and I'm like, well, there's another jobber team. What are they doing here?
Cindy.
Yeah, can I add this real quick? If you guys know the recent report that this is actually Tucker's final NXT UK appearance, because not too long ago, he is one of the names that has been released from NXT.
Now, was he released, or was it just the report that his name was dropped?
Nick Miller, who is one half of the Mighty, or TM61.
Okay. Now, Nick Miller wasn't released. Nick Miller got his, he resigned, basically, Nick Miller. His wife just had a baby. He went down to Australia to be with the baby and decided he wanted to stay. What I heard about Tucker was no official word whether he was released, but his name was taken off of the Stars page. But I think that could also be renaming him, because he is just Tucker. So take Tucker off, and then when you re-debut him with a new name, then put him back up there. But unless there's been official word that he's been like on WWE.com, I'm not sure he's gone yet.
The Mighty are from Australia, right?
Well, yeah, but that was the Mighty. I'm talking about Tucker.
Yeah, but what if they just have Tucker tag up with the other guy from the Mighty?
Or just send that guy to NXT UK.
Yeah.
As a singles competitor.
Or a tag team specialist.
So in this case, we got Jackson, or was it Jack? No, it wasn't Jackson.
Jack
Saxon.
and Tucker.
Yeah.
Saxon Huxley.
Saxon Huxley and Tyson T-Bone went over Tucker and Jack Stars in a very meat and potatoes match.
Yes. Like at one point we thought they were chanting Quagmire Jesus, but I guess it was what ended up being
Tarzan Jesus.
Tarzan Jesus. Yeah.
We think his trunks look more like something Quagmire would wear.
Yep. Yeah.
But
giggity.
Seriously?
That's Saxon Huxley for you, man. So I think Tyson T-Bone gets the pin. Saxon does a running knee lift, which is more like a two-step knee lift.
It was a traveling knee lift.
And then T-Bone nails him with a right hand, and I can't remember which one he did. Doesn't really matter. So I guess we're building up Saxon Huxley and Tyson T-Bone to lose to, maybe they'll be in the semifinals match against Zach Gibson and James Drake. Maybe.
That'd be great. I'd love to see him lose.
Yeah, I mean, whatever match comes next, they're probably losing it. So,
Yep.
Most likely.
what'd you guys think about
Yeah.
this match?
Cindy, why don't you go first?
Nothing special to say. I mean, oh man, Tyson T-Bone, he's more dominating than his tag partner, Saxon Huxley, or should I say Jesus for all it matters. I mean,
Tarzan Jesus.
Tarzan Jesus.
Jesus. Yeah, it's just your typical squash match from a jobber tag in particular, but not much to say. But as far as if they're going to be qualifying for the NXT UK tag teams, pretty much you're probably going to lose to Gibson and Drake.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why they got the win, just to bump them up to the quarter or the semifinal spot to lose. I wouldn't be surprised.
They're absolute filler for the tournament. Is what they are.
They are fodder. What'd you think about this, Noah?
I mean, it was literally a typical squash match. The biggest highlight was literally just the combo tag team moves at the end when you think about it. I think it was
And even then, that was weak.
It was double midsection shots, like a knee shot, and then you had that brutal right fist. I don't know, maybe...
That wasn't brutal. Oh my god. I think...
Lacey Evans' woman's right is more powerful than Tyson T-Bone.
Lacey Evans, I don't know. Bottom line, meh. I don't see him going much further, if further at all.
I know he's kind of like the revival of singles wrestling, that Tyson T-Bone. He does nothing special in the ring. But come on, if it's going to be your finisher, that is the base move. That is the first move that you change when you're creating a character on a wrestling game, is the single punch. And it was weak at that. So let's move on to something more interesting. Doesn't get interesting immediately. We've got Radzi interviewing Isla Dawn, who is boring the shit out of me as a babyface.
Yes.
What about you, Cindy? What do you think?
Oh my God,
She's talking about picking herself up and dusting off the ashes and blah, blah, blah. And then Jenny comes in and saves the fucking interview.
Yes, she does.
Oh, yeah.
The queen of couture.
Yep.
Well,
Another rehash of a feud from Progress Wrestling.
Also, the feud before then?
Well, she basically says that Isla got her shot and she blew it. She failed. And the difference is Isla's a witch and she's a queen. And I guess one day we'll see what happens when the queen gets her shot. So she's taking Charlotte Flair's gimmick. But whatever. I mean, queen's a pretty general term for something like that.
I just can't get behind Isla's promos or any of her interviews or anything because I'm sorry, but she sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, with those fake fangs just make her sound like she's got a lisp.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how she hides it. She's got an actual lisp, but she puts the fake teeth in, so you think it's the fake teeth. Well, there you go. So I'm the butthole.
Still, I'm annoyed by it.
Yeah, I'm a little annoyed by it too, but what can you do?
Roderick at least worked on his. Now it's barely even noticeable. You know?
Well, this is obviously heading towards a one-on-one match between Isla Dawn and Jenny. I'm hoping Jenny wins. She gets pushed to the main event. We'll see her versus Rhea Ripley. She'll lose, of course, but it'll be another contender.
Unless Tony Storm gets the belt off of her.
I hope that doesn't happen. Ray needs to hold it for a while.
In which case, we'll have that could almost be like a number one contenders match with and have Jenny be a new number one contender.
As far as I'm concerned, Ray can hold it forever. She can beat Pete Dunne's record, and I'll be happy.
Duchess, what's your view on this?
Well,
I don't think I'm the only one.
I mentioned it. Yeah. So I mentioned it to Noah that this is kind of like the rehash of their feud in Progress Pro Wrestling, but it was Ginny with her stable, the House of Couture, along with Charlie Morgan, Nia Samuel, Laura DiMarteo, and one other wrestler that I forget. So this is like they're trying to rehash like the feud they have in Progress, bringing it into the NXT UK brand, because obviously Progress and NXT UK are like working together. It's just like with the NXT. They just call it NXT US here, working together with Evolve and what their indie wrestling company too. So they're trying to rehash like the feud that they're doing into that. I'm hoping this is just going to be just like a one-on-one feud, no stable to build, especially on Ginny's end too, because like I honestly don't want to see House of Couture 2.0 in NXT UK for all it matters. And pretty much, no, you actually agreed with what I'm saying too when we talk on Facebook, right?
Because you already named two people that are in NXT UK that are from that stable. Now, that would happen. Who would you put Isla Dawn with? I mean, if Tony Storm, for example, gets the title, I mean, the only one we know right now that Isla Dawn gets along with is Tony Storm. But do we need another 6-woman feud or 4-woman feud?
Well,
I don't
this guy over here was trying to put in, while we were watching the show, he was trying to put Tony Storm in the stable with other girls, so she'd be like a 3-woman band, something like that. And I'm like, who would you put her with? There's nobody like her. And if you create 2 other superstars like her, then you're watering down her gimmick. Let's not do that. 1-woman band or nothing at all. Just come out looking like she got punched in the face every day. Just bangs in a black eye. That's her gimmick. Bangs in a black eye. So
I think I to that legitimately. So try something else.
I think what works very well with this NXT UK brand is bringing those kind of storylines from, like you said, from the Progress. Thank you. Because you've got much of that crowd goes to those shows.
Yes.
And so they are aware of this feud.
They appreciate good wrestling.
Well, not only that, but they can get behind it when they see it in the ring because they've got an emotional investment in this feud that comes before you even bother to put it on NXT UK television. So I dig that. I like that they can play off of that. I don't think it's going to last for too long. Obviously, they're trying to build up some of their own characters and storylines and feuds and whatnot. Nothing has come near what they've done with Gallus, but that is my shining star. That's what I'm holding my hopes on, that we get more groups and more feuds and more stories that are built like Gallus has been built.
Yeah.
So next we get, speaking of Gallus, Ligero versus Joe Coffey.
Yep.
And Joe Coffey comes out and smugly, maybe, or maybe he's just that confident in a heel way, he sends Mark Coffey and Wolfgang back to the back. He's going to do this on his own, and we appreciate that. That adds a layer of story to this match. This is the main event.
Yep.
So I figured Joe Coffey was going to win.
Yeah, pretty much, in my opinion, too. Like they've got him steamrolling over opponents, more or less, just to the inevitable match between him and Pete Dunne at this point.
I believe him and Mastiff are the only two left that are undefeated.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I've got quite a few notes on this, but I will get to those. First off, let's go with Noah. She went first last time. What did you think about this match, Noah, this main event?
The winner was obviously called, but that's not why we're into wrestling, because we already know wrestling's predictable. We're into it for the action. Both men delivered.
We like watching the build up to the result.
The story.
Both men delivered. There are a lot of great spots here. I enjoyed Lugero's over-the-top maneuvers. I think one of the craziest spots, and Cindy, you and I discussed this earlier, was the attempted sliced bread off the steel steps, countered into what they call a pounce. I call it a spirit interceptor because he just drove that boy into the barricade.
Yeah.
And honestly, Lugero never fully recovered from that. There were some other crazy spots with a butterfly airplane spin, I guess you could call it, into a butterfly snap suplex and another near fall. There was, I believe, suspension, suplexes that were countered with knees to the forehead. There was a lot of good stuff here, but I'm not going to say everything, obviously. Cindy, why don't you give us your take?
Well, it is a pretty amazing match. Both guys did deliver it, but one of the spots I'm very impressed from Joe Coffey is when he delivered the power bomb to Ligero, then transitioning to the Boston Crab.
Oh, that
was pretty brutal, to say at least. And then another spot I would mention is Ligero did the sliced bread number 3. All the way up to the turnbuckle and hit that signature move to Joe Coffey. Spot on perfect, but of course at the end of it all, Joe Coffey with his powerful lariat, 1, 2, 3, of course he beat Ligero and won the match, which just sends it off that Joe Coffey is definitely probably going to be the number 1 contender spot for the NXT UK title, because face it, he is the leader of Galax, which honestly I don't like that name. I'd rather call it the Coffee Gang. It sounds so much better.
I like that name though. And that move is called Best of the Bells, I think they call it. It's like just lariat, like Luke Harper used to deliver. In my opinion, Luke Harper delivers it better. But
Best of the Bells. Wow, it is such a weird name.
I might be getting the first word wrong, but it's something of the Bells.
It's AWRA. Raw.
Yep.
I mean, I said
Best fur, FUR. Best fur the bells. The THA.
It's pretty much for whom the bell tolls.
Yeah, we looked that one up on Google because we couldn't understand it when they said it, obviously.
Yeah. It was still cool, though, how he finished off of countering Ligero's springboard tornado DDT, but you need a better name for that move and a more effective look for it.
He needs a name for the move. I don't think he's named it. But I did.
The announcers did. I'm not sure. I would have to check his progress.
There's a few people with finishers I believe are still unnamed. Isla Dawn comes at the top of my list.
Yeah.
Because her suplex is so innovative looking, just using bits and pieces of other suplexes together into a jackhammer, and it still has no name. But she's got this whole gimmick. How does she not have a name for this move already? I don't know. Maybe it does have a name. But the name of it's a heel name, so they can't use it yet. That's my guess. What'd you think about this match, Jerry?
We pretty much go into it knowing Joe Coffey's going to win. There is no doubt in my mind about that. The fact that he's been doing these wins lately, especially the one he beat Travis Banks, I think this last time as well, and he did that without any assistance from the rest of Gallus either. They're really pushing him. They're showing that, doesn't matter if the guy's a cruiserweight type. It doesn't matter if he's a mat wrestler. It doesn't matter if he's a striker. He's got counters, and he's able to power through pretty much any kind of offense that's going to be thrown at him. So it was a good showing for both of them, but naturally Joe's just going to come out on top of it. So.
Well, you speak of counters and Coffey powering through offense. I tell you, he does a lot of pop-up moves. Yeah. And these basically seem like counters because he's coming out of somebody's coming at him running offensively. Mm-hmm. We see a pop-up European uppercut into this headbutt spear to the back, and oh my God, that looks so brutal.
Yep.
It sent Ligero into the corner. We also saw a pop-up power slam, just crazy strength. But the first thing I wanted to mention, and Noah mentioned this move earlier, that butterfly hold. Which is a double underhook DDT submission. Well, he takes that submission and brings Ligero up to where his legs are hanging over Coffey's legs. And he's in a squatting position. We name this the squatty potty because both of them look like they're squatting to take a shit. This is the one that he takes into the airplane spin and then sends him with the suplex. But yeah, they looked like they were both squatting to take a poop. Just my objectiveness here. But we had Ligero come with that spring sliced bread, and I thought that was going to be it was a near fall, but not really close. I thought it was going to be closer than it was. So I think the finish happens here when Joe Coffey grabs the mask, and he takes Ligero into the top turnbuckle, grabbing by, I guess, the horns. And
grabbing Ligero by the horns.
He goes up top, and I guess Ligero tries to get a Frankensteiner on, but this is where Joe counters the Frankensteiner comes down and power bombs him, turns it right over into almost a Walls of Jericho.
Yeah, the Austin Crabs.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Ligero makes it to the ropes, and then we had Joe counter a springboard tornado DDT. There was a couple of spots in there where he went for his finisher, the discus lariat, and it got blocked. And I thought he was going to do like he did his last match, where he came in right-handed, gets blocked, but then spins around with the left hand and catches him. Well, that one got blocked too. So suddenly I'm like, well, maybe Ligero is going to win. No, he goes for that springboard DDT and gets clocked out of midair.
Yep.
Just rocked, and you know that's the pinfall. One, two, three.
It was very reminiscent of Shawn Michaels, Neil, and Shelton Benjamin with the Sweet Chin music.
It wasn't that pretty.
Oh, nothing will ever be that pretty, but it was reminiscent.
If you say so. I thought it was brutal, but I wouldn't compare it to that. But yeah, that comes to the finish, and I think we've all gotten our words in for this match. Any final thoughts, you guys?
Well, hold on. Well, since we're going to be doing final thoughts and whatnot,
Let's just go tie it in.
We'll go ahead and tie it into our 5 spots of tea. How we rate the matches here.
Got my tea here.
I'm guessing since it's only proper and we're gentlemen here, we'll let the lady go first. Our 5 spots of tea. What are you thinking?
For just the main event.
For just the main event.
Awesome. Well, I would say I'm very impressed with a couple of spots from both gentlemen, especially with Joe Coffey himself, but with his a lot of counters and a lot of spots that he put one hell of a match to rank. I'm going to give it kind of like a 4 spots of tea. But to honor Kayfabe Candy Ass, 4 out of 5 goth babes.
There you go, 4 out of 5 goth babes. If we can ever get him on the show, I promise you we will change our ridiculous spots of tea into goth babes.
He'll wear a mask like Ligero.
I don't care. If I can get him on the show, I will change it to goth babes. Just for him, just to get him on the show. Noah Foster, the simple man. In your simple opinion, where do you rate this main event?
It was a match of power versus speed. We saw some awesome spots and some brutal near falls, and we already called the win. But I enjoyed the match. Cindy, I agree with you. It's a 4 out of 5 for me.
Okay.
So for me, it's always about the story, and they told a decent story of, again, the powerhouse versus the high flyer. And we actually got some spots out of Ligero. I think the last time I saw Ligero in the ring with more of a powerhouse, it was kind of a boring match. You didn't see so much out of him that you would have thought. In this case, I mean, he did a plancha over the top rope to the outside, I think. It might have been through the middle rope, but I think it was over the top.
He went over the top.
Over the top.
I mean, this match was full of spots for him. It was full of power spots to make Joe look good. Joe got the win. That's what needed to happen. I'm going to agree with all or both of you. And by the look on his face, possibly all 3 of you, I'm going to go with 4 stars.
There's really no, everything about this match, it seemed like it was just well balanced because you had like you said, the speed, like it's been said, the speed of Ligero, and you've had the pretty much Joe can match up with anybody at this point. I'm really thinking that, like, he can combat any style, and that's really cool, and that's something.
I don't think he can combat a fellow boring style. Because without a smaller guy that's really fast, those pop-up moves that were so cool looking, he wouldn't be able to do those.
I was about to say, he wouldn't be able to do those against Mastiff.
Yeah, another style like his own, where it's slow, methodical, and quite frankly boring, I don't think he'd put on such a good match. But against Pete Dunne, abso-fucking-lutely.
Like, the intensity alone in between those two will actually, like, carry that match. But for this one, I'm actually going to have to go with you guys on this one with 4. Because
just look at this match where he faced his brother at Fear and Loathing 11 for ICW for, like, what was it, the Zero G Championship. That'll tell you right there what he can do against a guy similar to him. It was a great match.
We'll have to check it out.
So, 4 stars for all 4 panelists. I believe we actually agreed on 3 stars for NXT last night for earlier, I guess, for the main event there. So this has been an odd day. I'm honestly surprised all 4 of us agree. I almost want to change my rating. Just to be different.
Well, you do have a different
Don't-
outlook, so I say go for it.
No, it's
don't
easily
be a dick.
easily 4 stars. I wouldn't give it an extra quarter star off of the back of a great show because it was a decent show, but not great.
Yeah.
But the match itself, perfect for what it was. Not a perfect match, not a perfect story, but great nonetheless. 4 stars. So that brings us to the end of this episode of the NXT Party for NXT UK episode 19. We'll be up very shortly with episode 20. In the meantime, any plugs, Cindy?
Well, you guys can follow me on nodq.com/Cindy. That's going to take you directly to my Twitter page. Make sure to follow me at simply_C_OK on Instagram and on my YouTube channel as well. And do not forget, show some love by purchasing your NoDQ.com t-shirts. Like Stefan and myself were wearing Stefan Osborne's t-shirt.
Just by chance.
Of course.
Is wearing his classic NoDQ.com t-shirt. Also, other NoDQ.com t-shirts.
Not this. You can't get this there.
Nope, can't get my Black Panther shirt there.
Galaxy with all of our names in it, including you, Jerry. So you have a shirt.
Oh, my name's on there?
Yeah, I believe it's on the Galaxy
Holy
shirt.
shit!
Can you believe it? Can you believe it? The General, No DQ General. I think it's your Twitter handle, No DQ General.
Cool.
I'm not positive, but I think it is.
I'll check it out.
Noah, any plugs?
You guys want to follow me, talk about wrestling in life, look me up, nodq.com/Noah. You want monthly predictions to WWE pay-per-views, maybe more. Look up my YouTube channel, Noah Foster 210. And stay tuned for me and the lovely Cindy here. We'll be doing Wrestle Kingdom 13 predictions.
Awesome.
Okay, and if you would like to be on the big screen on a future episode of NXT Party, I believe we have a guest for next week. I'm not positive about that. There's always room, and there is 2 episodes. At least until TakeOver Blackpool, there's 2 episodes a week, so we could always do, we could do the split screen if you want. But if you'd like to get a hold of me, find me on Twitter. Go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. Or just go to Twitter. You can find me, Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. You can find this gentleman on Twitter as well.
No DQ General. Plus, I also have my Facebook group, Armbar, capital ARMBAR, exclamation point.
Yeah, that is all caps. All caps, ARMBAR, exclamation point. Or just find us and we'll add you. We may not add you as friends, but we'll definitely add you to the group. I don't mind that.
Well, absolutely not.
I just try to keep my spoilers off of my Facebook feed, leave all of that on Twitter. So thank you again for joining us for the NXT Party for episode 19 of NXT UK, and we will see you NXT time. Welcome everybody to another NXT Party for the NXT UK episode number 20.
Number 20!
Yes, we are 20 episodes deep, finally. I am, of course, the Rated R reviewer, Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Evening wrestling fans.
And tonight, again, as we did with episode 19, we have a 4-person panel, the biggest NXT party that we've had to date.
Yep.
And so, first up, we have the Duchess, 1/3 of the ladies of No DQ, Cindy G. How are you doing, Cindy?
I'm doing good, thank you. I'm actually almost feeling better from the cold that I encountered over the weekend. And yeah, by the way, I'm drinking orange juice, just no alcohol. I'm not drinking, okay? This is orange juice just to recover my cold.
As we said, you do you. But no, I totally understand. When you first said that you were feeling a cold and had to go to work, I was like, oh, that sucks. Because she has to go to work. I hate getting sick and having to go to work. Well, sure enough, with this 12 days off that I've got, I got sick too.
Yeah.
My nose was running all day for 2.5 days, and I chugged so much orange juice. And I truly believe that orange juice helps better than any medicine I've ever taken. Because I got better in just over 2 days.
And then over here on the blue team.
On the blue team.
We have the simple man himself, Noah Foster. Noah, what's going on, man?
You been sick lately, Noah?
I've been fortunate so far to avoid any ailments, but I'm not going to guarantee that it won't happen anytime soon.
Tis the season.
Great, guys. Good to see
Oh,
you.
that's what I was telling Stefan. It's like anytime anybody else gets sick, I don't get sick. It's when everybody else is feeling better, is that like the crappiest fan, and I'm just out for like days.
But you get the best empathy because everybody remembers how it felt.
Yeah.
And
It's only
everybody's
one family to
everybody's
make.
healthy, so they can run out and get you chicken noodle soup and bring you Sprite.
You have nice people like that in your life.
So on to no, that's me. I would have to run and get it for you.
Oh, thanks.
So on to episode 20 of NXT UK. We start off the show with a tag team match. We've got James Drake and Zach Gibson versus, let me get this right, Mike Hitchman, the Wild Boar, and the Primate, Jay Melrose.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
What really got me excited about this match, that I've been bitching about for the past couple weeks, Wild Boar finally has that mask back with the horns on the face and everything, because naturally the debuting Jay Melrose on here is wearing a gorilla mask.
Yeah, he is the Primate.
He's the Primate.
And he kind of wrestles in that style, in that vein. There for a minute, there was a running splash / clothesline he did into the corner.
First he slapped the mat like a monkey.
Slapped the mat like a gorilla would. What'd you think about this match, Noah?
Primal Instincts definitely took hold on this team, but it was a good back and forth.
I like that.
I enjoyed the exchanging of shots between, I believe it was the Wild Boar and James Drake. There was a couple of really great senton spots, but I mean the finish was, again, one of those predictable things. But I look forward to seeing more of these wild ones, I'm going to call them, going forward.
I like that, wild ones. What do you think about this match, Cindy?
Like what Noah said, it is a pretty good back and forth action, a pretty good opener as well. Man, I must say the Wild Ones, whew, I can see them like being one of the top tag team. But since I think this is the first time they're actually debuting as a tag team together, I mean, I see a lot of potential in them. But the finisher, the tag team finisher from Gibson and Drake is pretty spot on, perfect.
Oh,
but
love
what
it.
I really like the most is the promo from Zach Gibson. I mean, yeesh.
Yeah, you didn't think this match was over when it was over, did you?
Oh, no. The sec that match was over, he's calling for a microphone and just cut another scathing promo.
Well, I had more notes on this match than I thought I would. Hitchman and I guess now Jay Melrose are just going to look like the kind of guys that can get it done. They just never do get it done because they're enhancement talent. They're meant to make somebody else look better. In this case, they made Zach Gibson look better, but James Drake, as he pointed out before, took most of this match. He took most of the beating. There was a spot where Hitchman does this mini freak accident.
Yep.
Looked great. And then does a standing senton from there. I mean, anytime Hitchman or Melrose got a bit of offense, chances are it was against James Drake, the disciple.
Yep. And he also got hit by a pop-up powerbomb by Hitchman after Hitchman got the hot tag later on in the match. But the Ticket to Ride, I'm loving the move, but I still think it should be called True Friends, because True Friends stab you in the front.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a better name.
Because it's a front stabber. It's a code breaker out of, basically the opponent gets thrown up from a tombstone position into a code breaker.
Yeah.
And it is fucking brilliant looking. There was another spot that I wanted to drop in here. Drake does this step up enziguri, and that was the only spot in the match where Drake looked offensively dangerous.
Yeah.
Other than that, he was kind of a punching bag. But Boar had this pop-up powerbomb out of that, the Wild Boar.
Yeah.
And damn. Like, they look good, but I think they're just enhancement talent. So the finish comes where Gibson basically pulls Drake away from that cannonball senton that Wild Boar does.
Yep.
And so this plays up. Drake would lose the match if it wasn't for Gibson.
Yeah.
Gibson is all the talent here, but it's all that they need to beat these tag teams. We'll see how that measures up against Mustache Mountain. Too much alliteration there for me. So, at the end of this, we get a promo by Zach Gibson where James Drake just stands there sort of smiling like he normally does, just looking like...
Just kind of pacing back and forth in his own skin.
But to me, it was basically a Zach Gibson promo. And the crowd wasn't as hot on him. There were spots where they were, but not as hot on him until the end where he says that he loves the city and they saw past and they knew what he was about to say, I guess. They start booing him heavily, and then he's like, he hates the people.
Yes.
And then you get some shots of people in the crowd doing, what, Cindy? If you hate that, give shoes up.
Yep, like at least like 3 or 4 guys that did that time. So
they hate this guy for who he is.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
James Drake is getting so much heat from just being with him. That's like 5th-degree burns.
So on cue here, next up is an interview with Mustache Mountain. So we're going to get more words about the tag team. What is sort of a tournament? I mean, they kind of call it a tournament, but it's not really being billed as so. We definitely didn't get brackets or anything. We just have 2 semifinal matches.
It might as well just be a fatal 4-way at this point, because we're just getting 2 semifinal 2 semifinal matches. Then it's going to go into the actual.
I think finals. I prefer this to a 4-way. 4-ways can get really fucky.
Yeah.
This way we have one tag team versus another tag team, and we will have an inaugural NXT UK Tag Team Championships. What do you think about Mustache Mountain in this interview, Cindy?
Well, I mean, they are the very top tag team in the NXT UK division. I mean, from what I can tell is I feel that they're probably going to be in the finals just for the inaugural NXT Tag Team Champion. I said it before. I feel that this is going to be it, that Tyler Bates and Trent Seven will be the first ever NXT Tag Team Champion. Especially the fact that Tyler Bates was NXT UK champion.
That's what me and Stefan were talking about, and that's the thing that he really hates about it at this point, is the fact that would make Tyler Bates the first ever UK champion and first ever tag champion.
Yeah, he doesn't need that. He's fine as he is. Give it to Gallus, or give it to
Gibson and Drake. Right. Just add even more heat to them.
You know, I believe it. The first one needs to be a heel, but I guess the first women's tag team, women's champion, was a heel. So maybe you revert back to having a face. I don't know.
They're also going back to where they had the original NXT UK tournament, the Empress Ballroom. So I mean. Hey, Tyler Bate won the tournament there. It would be fitting at Mustache Mountain, I guess.
Yeah, it's just way Trent kept on saying that too. He's like, you've made some memories there. It's like hint, hint.
It's just way too fucking predictable to put the titles on Mustache Mountain first. It makes the whole idea of having even a 3-match tournament stupid, because Mustache Mountain was the only tag team to come in to NXT UK as a tag team, established through NXT.
Yes.
Let alone the fact that, I mean, everything else, even if they were tag teams before, they've been built since. Even the Coffey brothers aren't a tag team. It's Mark Coffey and Wolfgang.
Yep.
So Mustache Mountain being the first ever tag team champions is way too fucking predictable for me. I will be very displeased if that happens.
Yeah.
So that's just my tirade on that.
NXT UK predictions video.
So...
we will have to do a TakeOver Blackpool predictions video.
Yeah, we'll have
hopefully since you are the first ever 2-time and first ever 3-time, and we have the second ever 2-time guest on this show, I say we have them and we do same format here.
Absolutely.
But we will have to get the timing right.
Yeah, regardless.
Yeah.
Count me in.
So up next we get a match. Well, it was supposed to be a match. I went ahead and underlined Dave Mastiff, because he's facing Josh Morrell, who just, the name screams jobber.
Oh, no, just his mannerisms and everything on the ramp. I'm like, oh, this guy's going to sell loot. And by the time you got that sentence out,
the match was over.
Like, when they pop up the graphic screen of his name, like on the sidebar, no Twitter handle.
Well, I'm surprised they got to the name, because Eddie Dennis comes out and cleans his clock. This match never gets started. Eddie Dennis is just there. This is not only interfering with the match like Mastiff did on Eddie Dennis's match prior, but this is also head games. I'm not even going to let you get started. And I'm not going to attack you and give you the disqualification win. If anything, if the bell had already rung, which they do that sometimes, they'll ring the bell before the guys come out, then I would say Mastiff gets the loss because the jobber gets the victory from the DQ.
Yeah.
So I like this. It saved us from having to see a squash match. Yes, Cindy.
My question is, will we see Eddie Dennis versus Dave Mastiff at the first ever NXT UK takeover?
Oh yeah, and if they don't do it in a cage, they don't know what they're doing.
Pretty much.
What do you think about this, Noah? Are you looking forward to Dave Mastiff versus Eddie Dennis #2?
I absolutely am. With the amount of heat both men have against each other. I mean, you heard Dave Mastiff screaming, "I want you now!" Of course, he's going to have to wait. There's no doubt in my mind this match is going to deliver from both men pure physical intensity. Just a little side note, though, from the presentation. I love these little niches NXT UK does. I don't know if you know, like during Dave Mastiff, for example, but like the camera's shaking like he was walking.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool touch.
They've been doing that since the beginning, and like Stefan initially didn't catch it. He just thought it was like, that's just the way it was.
Yeah,
But-
just the camera. Of course, the camera's gonna shake. He's stepping. He's like, no, they do that on purpose. I'm like, oh, that's so brilliant. It's so fucking brilliant.
My thing is with that though is I hope they actually do end the Mastiff and
Dennis.
match or rivalry relatively soon, because I want him to get into what he's been talking about through all those promos.
Well, this second match needs to happen at the pay-per-view because it needs the amount of time in order for it to actually be a good match. I'm pretty sure I did not think highly of their first match because it just wasn't given enough time. There was not enough story to be told. In this case, you've built up this rivalry past the win, and there's more heat, there's more anger between the two of them, and I'd like to see a 15-minute match in a steel cage between these two at the pay-per-view.
That'd be really
I'm
great.
just hoping this doesn't result to, oh, you got one win, I got one win, we're going to get a rubber match. I don't think this feud needs that.
No.
Who knows? If Eddie Dennis gets the win back, and it's a heel victory, you can almost go either way, because since Mastiff is a babyface, he wouldn't necessarily want his redemption. He just lost a match. Time to move on. It's usually when the heel loses that they get pissed off about losing and come back for a third match.
Yeah.
So I say it's a 50-50 shot. If they pull off a really good match at the takeover in Liverpool, then I don't know that I would mind a third match. I just want to see something longer.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'll decide whether I want to see a rubber match later. If, in fact, Eddie Dennis gets the win, you never know. You could see Mastiff getting 2-0. So next we get a sort of a video promo. Joseph Connors basically becoming Cassius Ohno.
Yep.
No.
Pretty much. He actually says like that he's already felt scratched and discarded by the NXT UK. So now they're getting all these shiny toys, so he's more or less going to break the shiny toys.
Yep.
So, and they'll be all scratched as well. He is coming off as jaded, he's coming off as unappreciated. He's pretty much coming off as their own little version of Raven, which I'm going to go ahead and say right now, the arena that they're at for these past two shows, very reminiscent to me of the old ECW arena.
Yeah, the Liverpool Olympia.
Yeah, it's just very reminiscent, just the way it's set up and everything. Even the ramp just screams old ECW. And I think that's one of the reasons I like these two shows that we had tonight so much, is the fact that they're just, the arena itself is a character. So I really liked it.
So what did you think about Joseph Connors, Cindy?
Not surprised that he's going to be one of those heel characters that feels underappreciated per se, but the only thing that's going to pop into my mind that who's going to have a feud with him, one person that I'm very high of, Travis Banks. Simple as that.
I could see that.
That'd be a great feud.
Be a great feud and a series of great matches, I think. Throw in maybe a tag partner here and there. Although Joseph Connors hasn't had the best luck with tag team partners. He tends to stab them in the back. He just needs somebody that can win at the level that he wins, because they seem like they've built up Connors as a pretty big deal. And so it's a little weird to see him already, playing the I've been forgotten thing, because I mean, he's basically won every feud. He's been in, 2 feuds?
Yeah.
With the tag team and then against his tag team partner, and he's won both. So, I mean, what's there to complain about? But I dig him. I dig him in the ring. His finishing move is awesome. And
his red jacket's hideous, but otherwise we're good.
But if he's going this route and the video package is all dark and black and shit, maybe he's not going to come out with the the red velvet and the sparkly gold anymore. Let's hope. But other than that, I like Joseph Connors. His name is kind of, bland, but he's a good wrestler, and he's got a good look.
He's got an awesome move set. He's got that intensity to him. He reminds me kind of like Paul Burchill, but like when he was in his Ripper gimmick for a while there. He's just super intense, and now with this whole like entitled gimmick that he's pretty much doing at this point, I think it's gonna go pretty well. So
what do you think about Joseph Connors here, Noah?
Pretty good promo, interesting delivery and setup. I really hope they're not trying to turn him into a Cassius Ohno, but I think Travis Banks would be an ideal opponent. Even though I don't think he really mentions much of him, he mentions more like the Mod Father, Mark Andrews, etc.
Yeah.
So we'll see what this leads to.
Well, speaking of Mark Andrews, up next we get a match. It's him versus the debuting to NXT UK, Marcel Bartel, and he has got so much poise.
yes,
He is a William Regal clone. He is so good. There's a spot in there where he takes a bump or a kick or something, and he's up on the ropes, and just the sour look on his face is pure Regal. Pure Regal.
I have flashbacks of like early '90s WCW William Regal when I was watching this match, and just the poise, like you said, the wear down submissions, the small joint holds, and everything. That he's so meticulous with everything he was doing. It was fantastic. And that basement drop kick that we hated so much the last time he tried it's back, but like Andrew sells a lot better.
Well, they knew what camera not to put. Yeah, they knew what camera angle not to put it under. Did you guys see this basement drop kick where Mandrews was hung up in the ropes, and he does it, but when he lands, he's already in the fetal position. Like there's no drop kick to it. He just lands, and from the very side it looks terrible. But they at least got it a little bit better, and I guess he's safe. Give him that. He's working a little safe. Let's maybe not knock you off the ropes to the outside where you don't know where you're going to land.
Right.
But for this match, Jerry called it. He knew exactly what was going to happen, and I wasn't going to argue with him because it sounded reasonable. And then I added my 2 cents on. Why don't you tell him how it ended?
Fabian Eichner shows up, causes a distraction, and lo and behold, actually, like
He gets in the match.
I was about to say, Mandrews ended up getting thrown out to the outside, and sure enough, gets hit like against the barricade instead of the steel steps this time with that running knee, thrown back into a ring and finished off. So,
but why? Other than the fact that Fabian Eichner kind of has this loose feud right now with Mandrews and Flash Morgan Webster, the man with 3 names. Other than that, and I'm like, look. Fabian Eichner has already said that he's going to find a tag team partner so that he can get back at both of them at the same time. And that's who Marcel Bartel is. That's why he got introduced. That's why he's here. That's why Eichner helped him get the win.
It's an interesting combination, too. That's what I'm really loving about it, is the fact that you have Fabian Eichner, who's more power than anything else. Then you have Marcel, who's got kind of like the more submissions vibe to him, but he's got a couple sweet moves in general. So
well, Eichner comes out, and that causes a near fall from a roll up. Of course, we're not going to get the immediate payoff to interference because he's got more to do. Mandrews misses, he hits a stun dog millionaire.
Eventually, people are going to stop trying to suplex Mandrews.
Yeah.
All ends up in the.
But he misses his shooting star. And then somehow he ends up on the outside, and Eichner basically does the running knee that he normally does to the steps, only does it to the barricade, throws him back in, and then we get a cradle backdrop driver is the best way that I can put this. Yeah. Like he lifts him up like for a backdrop, but he cradles one leg, and they called it a fisherman's cradle.
Yeah.
And he drives him down. Marcel Bartel with the win. This is basically what we saw coming. This is building towards Fabian Eichner and Bartel versus Mandrews and Flash, and I'm cool with this. This was a fun match. I enjoyed watching it. Eichner got in there right when he should have. It was a perfect story from the outside. I liked it.
Like just from the 2 participants alone, I actually was able to, something I usually don't do with this program. I just shut my book, sat down, and I just watched. This to me was just like a wrestling fan like match where it's like, okay, we have two different styles going on here, but at the same time,
Drastically.
I think they're gonna mesh well against each other. Even the personalities alone, you have like the very posh and very like stern,
just very poised,
versus like pretty much the party hard stage diving type, and it was going to be an awesome match because those dynamics alone. So I was ready just to watch the match.
Well, Bartel starts off the match just drawing me in with his chain wrestling ability. He does like maybe 2.5 minutes working over Mandrews' arm without ever letting go.
Yes.
And you would think that would get boring, but no. Like, he just does some weird manipulations and suddenly he's in another move. What did you think about this match, Noah?
It was a technical showcase, first off, from Marcel Bartel. I was very excited to see him in action. The first time I saw him was NXT Detroit, but all he did was crowd control. But I already knew just from there he would be an amazing in-ring competitor. So seeing him in the ring on NXT UK was something to behold. I mean, you called it basically the finish, but just all the wrist control, arm bars throughout the match. There was that one moment where Mark Andrews tried to get him into a headlock, but he escapes it with what they call like a head breach, I believe. And then there was just so much going on here. You had Hurricane Ranas, you had intensity, and I'll let Cindy get to the fun parts, of course. But I thoroughly enjoyed this match. Can't wait to see more. Cindy, your thoughts?
Oh, this is a really fun match. I'm very happy to see Marcel that there to be debuting in NXT UK. I mean, I did see his other matches in the indie wrestling circus. Before he was Marcel, he was Axel Schultz Jr., which, by the way, he is a son of a very famous German European independent wrestler, Axel Trashier. And fun fact, Marcel was part of a notable stable in the independent wrestling circus called Ring Conf, along with Timothy Thatcher, Alexander Wolf before he got signed to NXT and First Sanity, and Walter, y'all. So I'm very excited to see Marcel in the action. The crowd was like humming his old independent wrestling thing, which is actually the Ring Comfy with the da 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 like that, and then the Ring Conf chant and the Axel chant. So it is a really fun moment for that. But the only thing that, which I want to thank you, Noah, for he mentioned is how many times Marcel will say 9.
9, yes. Says no a lot.
Which means no in German. So I counted how many times he say 9. He only said 12 times total throughout the whole match.
Oh my goodness.
So after this match, go ahead.
And it is a really fun match per se. With Fabian Agner, first of all, he kind of reminds me of Impact Wrestling star Killer Cross with his ring gear minus the sunglasses. And then I'm not surprised that he actually won the match. It is one of those like predictable match. I mean, I'm a fan of Mark Andrews as well, but of course for a debut match you gotta have someone that's gonna win.
I saw Marcel winning like either. Or actually possibly getting disqualified because of Eichner, but at the same time, yeah, I saw him coming on top more often.
Well, it builds Marcel Bartel as a credible tag team partner for Eichner, and it also builds him into the feud because he got help to win. So this puts him in the perfect spot that he needs to be, and I'm okay with it. And like Cindy said, it's his debut, so you want him to win, or maybe it was Noah.
His debut.
So after this, in between here and the main event, we get one video package. We get Toni Storm. And the reason for that is our main event will be the NXT Women's Championship defended by Rhea Ripley against Deonna Purrazzo. Was there anything anybody wanted to say about the video package for Toni Storm?
It was nice. I mean, it basically drew back to what that promo she gave on the previous episode said. She loves NXT UK. She wants to make it be known as the, and I quote, best brand in the world. And basically she talked about how it all started with her going through WWE Evolution. Here's where I am. Tony time.
So yeah,
time.
it was Tony's story. Yeah, Tony time. Oh, I really hope that doesn't catch on. Do you have any notes about this this video package, Cindy?
Well, it is a pretty nice promo for that. But I just wanted to also mention later on about the whole Deonna Purrazzo NXT UK debut, because I know we're going to have a lot of questions about, why is Deonna Purrazzo in NXT UK? She's an American and all that stuff. We'll get into that later on during the main event.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go right into the main event. Deonna Purrazzo challenges Rhea Ripley for the NXT UK Women's Championship.
Oh, we also we got a small video package that I think you missed with Travis Banks.
Oh,
he's gonna be returning next week to action.
He's re-returning. Hey Cindy, it's Bob's Burgers with a wrestler. He's re-returning. Oh, I hope they do this. I hope he comes back for a match or two, gets injured, and he has to re-debut. And then he gets injured again. Just kayfabe injuries, little things that keeps him off of the show for like 4 episodes, and then we eventually get the 4 re's before the debut. Oh, that would be brilliant. Change his background and just have the Bob's Burgers banner, the re-debut of Travis Banks.
Instead of the Kiwi bus, also re-bus.
No, don't. You gotta skip the third. You gotta skip the third one. You don't want to call him a re anything. That's an old '90s. Yeah, you don't want to use that term. It's a new age. We don't say that around here.
You don't go forward hard.
So my first notes about this women's championship match are about Deonna Purrazzo. She puts Rhea Ripley in this impossible tie-up. She like a fetal position tie-up, face down in the ring, and just. I'm supposed to believe that Rhea Ripley can't get herself out of this. She gets very weakly basement drop kicked out of this tie-up, and suddenly I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Who is this chick, Deonna Purrazzo?
Well, the first thing that happens in the whole match after the bell rings, just running pump kick right to Ripley. It takes her completely off guard and goes from there. But that's what I really like about matches with Rhea Ripley. It seems like she goes into a match confident as hell, ready to fight and everything, but seemingly completely underestimating her opponent to the point where she has to kind of work her way back up into the match.
She learns on the job and still manages to get the victory.
Precisely. She takes some punishment here and there, but at the same time, I think it's more of a strategy of hers than anything else. Let them either wear themselves out so she can actually find the reversals of certain things or where their strong points are.
Well, she is super young, so this story is told through her age alone. Just the fact that everybody she gets into the ring with now, probably, she is learning how to fight them while she's fighting them.
Yeah.
So I like that story, but that is a very minor spot in this match. Cindy, what did you think about this match overall?
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say this. I know that we're going to get some comments and stuff saying, why is Deonna Purrazzo debuting NXT UK? She's American, all that. Well, first of all, she's actually Italian descent, so she is Italian-American. It's just like with Drew Gulak compete in the This Year's UK tournament because he has a Jewish background. So yeah. I just wanted to throw this out there. So it's really nice to have NXT bringing like other stuff from NXT that has like a European roots to European, Australian, New Zealand, or Canadian roots. Oh hell, we may probably see Aaliyah in NXT UK very soon.
Well, even still, I don't think there should be a cutoff that you have to be non-American to show up on NXT UK. Obviously, don't give the title to her because that would really get some people's panties in a bunch.
Yeah.
But I think it's okay. If you're going to have NXT UK stars on NXT, then let's have some NXT stars on NXT UK, even if they are American-born. Who cares? You're going for a good product.
If anything, it'll draw more heat towards the American athlete. Just it's like, you don't belong here. This is our promotion. This is our place. You don't belong in here. So
what did you think about the match itself, Cindy?
Overall, well, I'm very impressed with the match. I mean, especially the way it starts out with Deonna started to attack Rhea right away with that kick, and then followed by a impressive Hurricanrana. Yep. She knows that she's in for a fight. I mean, she is I'm gonna botch it so hard. Fuji our bar specialist.
Fujiwara armbar?
Yeah, that. Thank you. I cannot pronounce the life of me. I can even say the New Japan Pro Wrestling Stars, but not the signature move. But okay, it's just me. But yeah, so she's putting on a great fight. It's great to see like she's putting a lot of dedication into this match, especially just for her debut.
I don't think I saw the Fujiwara armbar out of her. I did see a Koji clutch.
Oh, that Koji clutch was something of beauty.
Yeah, it was awesome looking. And Rhea ends up countering into a near fall, so she had to kick out of the clutch. But that was pretty cool looking. It was reminiscent to me of something that ties up your head, much like the not the Cobra clutch, the Anaconda Vice.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
I was about to say she set it up just like Punk would for the Anaconda Vice, and just
only the leg went through.
Yes.
Instead of around. Oh my God, it was beautiful looking. What did you think about this match, Noah?
I thoroughly enjoyed it, and like you said, as soon as the bell rang, ding, boom, pump kick, and then Bruiser took full control. I mean, there was head scissors, there was arm guard takedown. You had a little bit of driven manipulation, shades of Pete Dunne almost when you think about it.
Yep.
We never regained control until the apron spot where she just dropped her face first.
Yeah, we had an electric chair drop, face first across the apron.
It's a face plant, yep.
Yeah, face first to the apron. And then you just had straight up aggression by Rhea. That was kind of a little bit of a back and forth for a while. Rhea regained a lot of control when she had
Now slow down. You're glancing over probably 5 minutes of this match. And I love Rhea Ripley. I have a ring for Rhea Ripley if I ever meet her. I love Rhea Ripley. But about 4 or 5 minutes of this match was fucking boring. And I have no problem saying that. It was Rhea Ripley on top, and I believe she's growing into her heel persona. But there comes a point where the ground and pound and the ground holds and things like that, you got to step away after 2 of them and do something to entertain the crowd. Because I was not entertained for probably the meat of the sandwich of this match. But then at the end, all was better. All got good.
Well, yeah, I saw
body scissors, for example, and with her being held by her ribs for a while. You were kind of bored by that section.
That's probably
the only hold that I'm ever enthralled by is that inverted cloverleaf.
Yeah,
that inverted cloverleaf. That is just beautiful looking. But other than that, just wasting time. But I don't know, maybe Purrazzo's normally a heel, so she doesn't have those babyface comeback spots. She had a few spots.
we have to get to this big spot right here, the German suplex out of that corner. Oh, holy shit!
Well, even before that, Purrazzo, she did a running senton off the apron on the outside.
Yeah.
She came up, and I think she had caught Rhea coming in. She caught her with a flatliner into that Koji clutch. Yeah, that was just beautiful. And she counters that superplex. Yeah, this is the spot you're going for. She counters the superplex, goes through, tries for a powerbomb. She doesn't get the powerbomb, but turns around, climbs up onto the bottom rope, and German suplexes the shit out of Rhea Ripley.
Yes.
They call it an atomic superplex. atomic Germanplex, I think.
Atomic German suplex.
Yeah. And then she gets this, as if that wasn't enough, she gets this, I called it a hair whip, because she executes it the way that Maurice does a DDT, where she would whip her hair. Oh, yeah. But she sets up like for a Uranagi, but she throws the Uranagi into an overhead suplex that she holds. It was so beautiful.
You actually had to say, what the hell was that?
Yeah, we backed it up 3 times to watch it, and then they replayed it, so we got to watch it 4.
It was just so quick and so fluid. Like if you blinked, you almost missed it.
I blinked the first time and missed it. I don't know if he did or not, but he appreciated it more fully when I backed it up.
Yeah.
But then after I guess, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, pretty much after that, we were kind of like in the thick of towards the end of the match, where we just had beatdown angle by Deanna in the corner.
Well, I saw this as frustration. She hit that beautiful suplex, and she got a near fall, but not a pinfall. Now she's frustrated. She goes in to start beating up on Rhea Ripley in the corner.
Yep.
In that frustrated mode, she gets backed up twice. On the 3rd time in, how do we get a corner? Face to the middle turnbuckle.
Yeah. That's about the end right there. The Italian Temper came out, and that was the end of it, pretty much for
Rip
me.
tap, up handle, cover, game over.
Yep.
Cindy, any other thoughts from you?
Well, just about that. Oh, sorry.
Match. I mean, I'm not surprised that Rhea Ripley did her Riptide finisher at the end. So, but what's so funny is that, like, afterwards, like, she got the title, and then she started to beat down Deonna once again, just to show, sending a clear message that she is still a champ. Until, lo and behold, Toni Storm came out, and then she was rushing to the ring, and that's when Rhea went out of the ring.
Yeah.
Just to make a scene.
So
yeah, looks like that's like
didn't take any punishment, didn't go for anything, just got the hell out of the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tony checking in on Deonna and shake hands. That's it.
Well, this is setting up for an eventual match at the pay-per-view at TakeOver Liverpool between Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm.
Yeah.
So I'm good with it. You've got the main event that ends the show promoting the title match at the pay-per-view. Makes all the sense in the world. It's better than just having Rhea Ripley win and stand there with the title. You move things forward a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I'm all in favor of that ending, and I think it actually makes the entire match, the entire main event, better. Even though I don't think they need to give the belt to Toni Storm, I think Rhea Ripley needs to be a powerhouse and a fighting champion that always wins. Just next 2 years, I'm good.
Bruno Sammartino, give her the belt for like 10 years.
Just let her keep the belt until they call her to the main roster. That's my view on it. I don't know about anybody else. But that brings us to the end of the main event.
Which we have our grading system here. The 5 spots of tea. As per usual, we are gentlemen, like I established this last time. Cindy, your thoughts on this match and your rating?
Well, I'm glad like the main event matches for the NXT UK Women's Championship match, especially we got the NXT debut of the UK, yes.
Well, we got 2 debuts. I mean,
doing one hell of a job, especially Rhea Ripley. Incredible job. Both ladies, they steal the show. And of course, at the end, it was like very predictable that Rhea retains the title. And then the ending, very spot on, just a way to set up for the match at NXT UK TakeOver. So for that, I'm actually gonna give it, because of prediction, a 3.5 out of 5. AKA to kayfabe Kenya Slingo, 3.5 out of 5 goth babes.
Gotta get those goth babes in there. Now, what about you, Noah? Out of 5 spots of tea, where do you rate this main event?
Well, again, I don't look at it for the outcome because we all knew that was going to happen. I look at it from where you stand from. We're looking at setting up towards TakeOver. I'm looking at what both women brought. It was a good debut. For Deonna Purrazzo, there was some nice spots there. I like the whole folding up Deonna, the after spot though. I thought that, what was it? The Atomic German Suplex spot was pretty sweet. That reverse Texas Cloverleaf is always brutal. Both women brought it. It had its moments where it felt a little slow, but it was still a pretty good match for me. For me, it's a 3.5 because I know that this could have gone farther.
Yep.
Well, it was given all of a week's build-up with a person that's debuting, so there's not even an emotional attachment into the challenger. So you get what you get out of that. What did you think about this, Jerry?
Well, that's my feeling about it too. Is the fact that they had already announced that Toni Storm was going to be going against Rhea Ripley for the belt, and very seldomly do you ever see a swerve anymore lately, where like all of a sudden the title changes hands, and then you have a whole new like title match going on at a pay-per-view. So Rhea Ripley winning this match doesn't surprise me at all, but at the same time, Deonna did so many cool spots in this match and was so impressive to me. I'm going to go ahead and give it 3 3/4. So, like, granted, a little bit higher than you guys, but at the same time, like you say all the time, it has a story to it. It kept on going, and it was a great showing on both parts for both the ladies. So,
well, I don't feel like it had much of a story until after the match with the beatdown and then the save by Toni Storm. Throughout the match, there was no emotional investment in it for me because of the fact that Deonna Purrazzo is brand new. It's her debut, and we have nothing for her going in. All my emotional investment is in Rhea Ripley, which is plenty enough for me to actually agree with you. I would have gone with a 3.5 based on everything that they said, but it's Rhea Ripley. 3 3/4. She automatically gets a quarter of a star.
She gets a quarter of a star.
Love Rhea
being
Ripley.
in a fucking match.
Of course, he had to do it.
I'm going to agree with the general. I'm going to give it 3
I believe you were
3/4.
trying to say this earlier. You were trying to say something about Deanna's relationship, weren't you?
Oh yeah, so during the match, you could hear everybody's doing the whoop whoop
Yep.
whoop whoop.
Marty Scurll.
Yeah, it's because it's kind of like a pay and homage to her boyfriend, the villain Marty Scurll. So
Yep.
that's where the whoop whoop chants come from.
Imagine if he was in NXT UK and he was set up in a feud.
Doubt it. I mean, he is going to be part of All Elite Wrestling.
Yep.
So we got a pair of 3.5s, we got a pair of 3 3/4, and that brings us to the end of this NXT party for episode number 20 of NXT UK. And I am of course the Rated R reviewer Stefan Osborne, joined this evening, of course, by the General Jerry Slaughter. We've got the Simple Man Noah Foster. We have got 1/3 of the women of No DQ, the ladies of No DQ, Cindy G. She is the Duchess, and if you'd like to be here for a future episode of the NXT party, just get a hold of me. You can find me on Twitter. Go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. Or you can just go to Twitter and look me up, Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. The R stands for restricted. You can also find the General on Twitter.
No DQ General, but I also have a Facebook group called Armbar, capital ARMBAR, exclamation point.
That's all caps.
Yep. All caps.
Where can they find you, Cindy?
NoDQ.com/Cindy. That's going to take you directly to my Twitter page. Also, simply_C_OK on Instagram and on my YouTube channel. Also, I have a second YouTube channel with my buddies Brian and Tyler, making hype videos for independent wrestling. It's at youtube.com/Tyson Poppy Production. And also, if you guys, we are going to be doing a predictions video for Wrestle Kingdom 13 this upcoming week. Myself, along with Noah and Chris Cast as well. And plus, all of us, we're going to be doing our predictions video for the NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. And we may going to have to convince Aaron Riff to join us to kick off the inaugural NXT UK predictions video, maybe. But
I don't think it'll be so
below.
hard to get him to stay up to late to our hours now, because I think Caitlin keeps him up pretty late on Messenger.
I like how he's doing on Messenger.
It's true. I mean, I think she keeps later hours, and so he has kept a little bit later hours, which is kind of cool. It's cute, man. So, Mr. Simple Man Noah Foster, where can we find you?
Y'all can find me at nodq.com/Noah. That'll take you to my Twitter. Y'all want monthly WWE pay-per-view predictions? Look at my YouTube channel, Noah Foster 210. And as always, just to keep supporting nodq.com, people. Support your wrestling, all that's big and small, and let's keep growing this wrestling community together. So with that,
all three of you rocking the No DQ Galaxy
Yeah,
shirts.
No DQ Galaxy.
we are No DQ. And
I'm at least on it, so I'm all right with that.
They have a name on it, Jerry.
Yep.
Yeah, you're on here, down here somewhere.
Next to Jeff Meacham's son, Dylan Meacham.
Right below the rib cage, you will find me.
So, for the General Jerry Slaughter, for the Duchess Cindy G, for the Simple Man Noah Foster, I am, of course, the Rated R reviewer Stefan Osborne, and we'd like to thank you for joining us and having a cup of NXT with us.
Cheerio.
Happy New Year, y'all.
cheers, everybody.
See you NXT time.